your co-stars a little bit. One of your former co-stars, Michael Ratty, has been doing a lot of things. He's now in Melrose Place. I mean, are you happy to see him moving on, or what was it like working with him and then him leaving the show?
Well, the plan is always to have his character leave the show eventually because it sort of made way for the Casey Cartwright storyline. But he was an extremely wonderful actor to work with, and he's a sweetheart. And I wish him all the success in the world. And we had so much fun working together. So of course, it was a natural progression for him to go to like a more expensive show. But he's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like so many people have been on our show, and they're all on TV shows after being on our show. So it's just sort of our age, the age group that we're in, of people who are auditioning for the show are clearly talented people, and then they usually go off to be successful afterwards.
Great. Thank you so much, Spencer.
Next we have David Martindale.
Hey, Spencer. Years ago, this is going to sound like a crazy question at first, but years ago, Roddy McDowell, who was in all the Planet of the Apes movies, he told me this crazy story about how whenever they would stop filming, the guys in ape suits would all sit together and eat lunch together. The guys in chip suits would stick together. The guys in orangutan suits, they would be their own group. I was wondering if the same sort of vibe happens on the show, if the different cliques kind of stick together when the camera stops rolling.
I mean, sort of. We're all like, for us, we're not. Planet of the Apes is like much more extreme, I feel like, experience, and those people probably spent more time with each other. We've been doing the show for 3 years and are involved in each other's lives more than that. But yeah, then like you find people who you mold with, but we're coworkers. I wouldn't say we're not enemies at all, but so not really. Like during lunch, everyone goes to nap, so because we're up at like 5 in the morning and exhausted. But we have had so much fun together, and it's been like a party a lot of times, and it's been really fun. But not really. Kinda. I don't know. I'm sort of everyone's got their own interests. Like, I'm sort of not necessarily a girly girl, so I kind of hang out with the dudes a lot, because I'm like, in my regular life, it's just very different from Casey. I sort of like to do boy things, like surf and, not wear makeup.
Fair enough. Totally fair.
Yeah.
And it may seem like a silly question, given that acting is kind of the family business for y'all, but
yeah.
Was there an important moment in your life that compelled you to do this? Was it something you always wanted to do as a child, or was it something that you resisted getting into at first? What?
It was a combination of all of those things, I think. I'd always sort of been a performer. Like, I did a commercial when I was a kid, and took dance classes, and I had like this extreme amount of energy, so my mom kept putting me in different classes, and I sort of used art, like whether it was studio art or acting or dancing, as a way to express myself, and something that sort of fueled my life as just a part of who I am. And then at some point it was like, well, what am I going to do with my career? And I really decided to focus on acting, but of course, things get in the way. You want to finish high school, and then I thought, I'll try some other careers and see if I could pursue my passions, like in art history. I worked in an art gallery in New York for a few years, and while I had continued pursuing acting, and I really pursued it because I had loved it and missed it so much, and I sort of gone back and forth for a few years and really decided to focus on it when I was in college, and it's served me well so far. So it was a combination of a lot of things. I think you have to love whatever you do. Well, at least for me, like, especially acting, you have to love it to the extent that you can't almost live without it, to go through what you go through every day, like getting up so early and learning all these lines and all of the the backlash that you get for gaining weight or losing weight, or like just it's the craziness of what it entails, like, but it ultimately, when I get to do what I do, when I get to perform it, and make people laugh, and it's so worth it to me. And pretend to be someone else for a little while, all those things. So I guess, yeah, I don't know, it became sort of synonymous with me living.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And next we have Gretchen from Student Online.
Hello, how are you? I just had a question about the upcoming season more so.
Sure.
Because Grant and Calvin are going to come out to the Chi Omega house, the Omega Chi house, and how do you see, Evan and the other brothers reacting, and maybe some other people on Greek reacting to that?
Well, I'm so not in that storyline ever. I think it turns out okay. I mean, they definitely play with it a lot, because Grant is coming out for the first time, so he and also hasn't really explored his idea of what being gay is, and I feel like Calvin has a way of where he's comfortable. Like, not every gay guy is flamboyant and loves wearing women's makeup or whatever, or dressing a certain way. Other people are feel like sports or whatever. It's not to say it's sort of like human beings. I'm a total tomboy, but I'm still a girl, So, but I think they play with that a little bit. Grant's there's a bunch of funny stuff where he's doing his hair in different ways, wearing different outfits, and talking differently. But ultimately, the story is about the ultimate acceptance of being gay and about not making it a derogatory thing. And of course, there's going to be some people in the Omega Chi house that are going to create conflict, and then of course people who are going to be accepting, which is sort of where anything becomes, when you're going against the grain, it becomes that way.
Mm-hmm. And then also, you talked a little bit earlier about Casey's options for when she graduates. What would you prefer her to do?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm like whatever. I love working on Greek. So if I say I go to grad school Greek, or if I there's talks of house mothers and things that I don't know. We sort of end the show on a cliffhanger this season, but it's I would love to see Casey grow and do some more challenging things in her life for sure. Okay.
Thank you.
And next we have Laura from Southwest University.
Okay. Hi.
Hi, it's nice talking to you today.
Nice talking to you.
I have a question. What has been one of your favorite moments shooting the show, this season or just in general?
Oh, this season or just in general. Oh, it's so hard for me because we have so many really great moments together. I mean, it's there'll be times where I don't know. I had a really good scene with Sam Page. We were sitting outside, and it's fun when I love doing two-person scenes because they're sort of just conversational and realistic, and it's really fun. And there was another scene I did with Leah Thompson that was awesome, and I've done some great scenes with Scott and stuff too. So I can't really decide. It's not I wish it was we have a scene where we're gonna go bungee jumping. Oh wait, this one's pretty funny. Maybe I shouldn't talk about it. And Scott has to bungee jump, and he was scared to death to jump, and it was really funny. But I was trying to be supportive, and I'm like, maybe if you just go down on the ground and then run all the way back up and then just jump, won't be so scary. And he was like, Spencer, this is not the time to tell me how to do this. And we were fighting because we spent so much time together. I'm I'm sorry, okay, whatever works. That it's we're a family, and we give each other shit, and we laugh, and we hurt each other's feelings, and we apologize, and it's I'm gonna really miss my group of really great friends. Our last day of shooting, we were everyone stayed, and we just had a really good time, and we were running around, and it was really, really fun. It was really, what it had been years ago. When we first started shooting, we would always be watching and learning from each other, and it was just a great creative process, and I felt we really got back to that at the end of the season.